Hey guys, I'm back. This is it. Catcher in the Rye, chapters 25 and 26. So I'm going to do like I did with the last two chapters, where I'm just going to kind of highlight the most important passages, but you really should take the time to read the entirety of these final two chapters. And again, chapter 26 is really short. 25, especially at the end, is one of my favorite chapters in the entire book. And we do get this resolution, and there's another major symbol, and this settings Central Park, which you know I love. And so with that, we will begin our final two chapters of Catcher in the Rye. So I'm going to do my screen share. I hope everybody's well out there. And I'm excited. This is one of my favorite books. It took us a little bit longer this year with the pandemic and everything, but that's okay. We have a lot going on, right? And so for our notes, I put for our Get Focused, what you know I've all been loving, which are these Tiny Desk concerts. So I put the link to the Tiny Desk concerts, and I invite you to choose a Tiny Desk concert. There's so many out there. Here's the site. What am I listening to today? Oh, I listened to the Lumineers one, but there's so many good ones out there that, you pick a Tiny Desk concert and enjoy it. So that is your B now. Enjoy it. And then there's the review for chapters 23 and 24 if you need it. And then with that, just edit quick, we're going to hop into chapter 25 and 26. So we know Holden is struggling. He just had another strange encounter because he can't seem to escape them with Mr. Antolini. And he needs help. Holden needs to go talk to someone that can actually help him, and we're gonna see that in this chapter. He finally gets to a point where he recognizes that he needs to end this wild journey of a weekend and go get his exhausted, struggling self some help. So he's going to turn to his family. And the only person in his family that we're going to see is Phoebe, who Phoebe Caulfield is one of my favorite characters of all time. She's Holden's little sister. And remember, Holden gave Phoebe, the last time we saw her, his hat, his prized red hunting hat, and Phoebe gave Holden some money. It was actually Christmas money she had been given to get presents with because he needed money. So these two have such a sweet sibling relationship, and we're going to meet up with Phoebe again here at the end of the book. So I love any chapter with Phoebe Caulfield because she's just so awesome. So with that, we start on chapter 25, starts on page 107 in our PDF. So here's my PDF. And again, it starts on page 104. Chapter 25, page 104. And again, I'm going to kind of like just skim us through this chapter and highlight what I think are the most important passages, but you should do a good deep read of it yourself. So Holden, here he goes and he picks up his bags that he had left, and he has Phoebe's money. Remember, he slept in the train station because he didn't know what else to do. He got out of Mr. Antolini's house, and he's just kind of walking around. He's exhausted. The kid needs some rest. He's a mess right now, and so he's got to figure out what to do. So as he's walking through, this is again page 105, chapter 25. He was like, all right, I gotta get a plan. So he wants to say goodbye to Phoebe. So in order to connect with Phoebe, he's like, all right, I should go. I want to give her Christmas money back. I'm not going to spend her Christmas money. I got to find her. I'm going to give it back to her. So he goes to her school. So this scene happens in the middle of chapter 25. He goes to Phoebe's school and he's walking there, right? He's walking there. And he wants to give her a note. So he hands this person at the desk at her school this note. And this is on page 107. Dear Phoebe, I can't wait around till Wednesday anymore. It's Monday. So I will probably hitchhike out west this afternoon. Meet me at the Museum of Art near the door at 12:15 if you can. And I will give you your Christmas dough back. I didn't spend much. Love, Holden. So like, wow, this is Holden's plan. He's like reeling in his head. He wants to leave the city now. This is the escape theme, right? He's going to try to escape and hitchhike out west. So this is his latest, plan to escape his life. And he again is trying to reach out to Phoebe. So he gives this note to someone at her school. And then he goes to the museum and he's kind of waiting for her. And as he's kind of wandering around, he sees some profanity. So he's walking around the school and he sees profanity written on the walls. Curse words, right? Some pretty bad ones. At the elementary school, right? He's like, oh, there's another one. All right. Oh boy, there's another curse word. He's just so upset that he's seeing these curse words on the walls of the school, and he's like trying to rub them out. He wishes he could rub all of them out, right? And as he's doing this, again, he's walking around. This is chapter 25. He's thinking about how he doesn't feel well. He's thinking about death again. He's thinking about disappearing. He's thinking about his this crazy plan to escape now and hitchhike out west, and connecting with Phoebe quickly. And he's like, oh, here, this is on page 110. He's like, yeah, maybe I'd let old Phoebe come out and visit me in the summer and on Christmas vacation. And I'd let DB come out and visit me for a while if he wanted. Because I'm going to try to find a nice, quiet place. He's going to try to find a nice, quiet place where DB could write. But he couldn't write any movies in my cabin, only stories and books. I'd have this rule that nobody could do anything phony when they visited me. If anybody tried to do anything phony, they couldn't stay. So this is like his escape plan. He wants to go escape out west, and only the people, the relatives that he likes can visit him, as long as they're not going to be phony in his cabin, right? So finally, Phoebe gets his message, the note that he had brought to school, and she comes running to meet him. Remember, the museum's right in Central Park, right, are all these museums. So he meets his sister, and she's got his crazy red hunting hat on, and she meets Holden, and she's carrying, sweetest thing, a suitcase. She's got all of her stuff, and he's like, what are you doing? What's in your bag? My clothes. I'm going with you. So cute little Phoebe is like, Holden, you're not going to run away by yourself. I'm going to go with you. I mean, if you couldn't have a sweeter little sister than Phoebe, right? So Holden's just like, oh, good God, she can't come with me. She's like, you can't go. And she's, why can't I go? And they have this little fight about it. And Phoebe gets mad at Holden because he tells her that she can't go. And so she kind of storms off. And to make up for it, and this is like one of my favorite parts of the book, to make up for it, Holden's like, all right, let's go on the carousel. So the carousel is in Central Park, and it's this very famous scene in Catcher in the Rye. And I mean, I have a little thing here, Literary Manhattan. It's kind of a cool site. It tells you all the important literary set scenes or settings that are in Manhattan, and the carousel is one of them. So this I linked in the notes if you want to learn a little bit more about the carousel. But so they're at the carousel, and Holden kind of makes it up to Phoebe because she's mad at him by saying, first they stop at the zoo, then he's like, come on, let's go on the carousel. And so this is on page 113. He buys some tickets. All right, so here he's got some tickets, and at first she's like, I don't want to go on the carousel. And she's like, aren't you going to ride? And he's like, no, you just go ahead. All right, I'm going to sit on this bench over here and I'll just watch while Phoebe goes on the carousel. So that's what happens at the end of this chapter. And I'm going to just, because I do love this passage, I'm going to read this passage to you. It's the bottom of 113. So Phoebe has her ticket. She gets on the carousel. Holden's not on the carousel. There's these benches right in front of the carousel that you can sit and watch. And that's what he's doing. So he said, I went over and sat down on this bench, and she went and got on the carousel. She walked all around it. I mean, she walked once all the way around it. Then she sat down on this big brown beat up looking horse. Then the carousel started, and I watched her go around and around. There were only about 5 or 6 other kids on the ride, and the song the carousel was playing was Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. It was playing it very jazzy and funny. All the kids kept trying to grab for the gold ring, and so was old Phoebe. And I was sort of afraid she'd fall off the goddamn horse, but I didn't say a thing or do anything. The thing with kids is if they want to grab the gold ring, you have to let them do it and not say anything. They fall off, they fall off. But it's bad if you say anything to them. When the ride was over, she got off her horse and came over to me. You ride once too this time, she said. No, I'll just watch you. I think I'll just watch, I said. I gave her some more of her dough. Here, get some more tickets. She took the dough off of me. I'm not mad at you anymore, she said. I know. Hurry up. The thing's going to start again. Then all of a sudden, she gave me a kiss. Then she held out her hand and said, It's raining. It's starting to rain. I know. Then what she did, it damn near killed me. She reached in my coat pocket, took out my red hunting hat, and put it on my head. Don't you want it? I said. You can wear it a while. Okay, hurry up though now. You're going to miss your ride. You won't get your own horse or anything. She kept hanging around though. Did you mean it when you said you really aren't going anywhere? Are you really going to go home afterwards? She asked me. Yeah, I said. I meant it too. I wasn't lying to her. I really did go home afterwards. Hurry up now, I said. The thing's starting. She ran and bought her ticket and got back on the goddamn carousel just in time. Then she walked all the way around it till she got her own horse back. Then she got on it. She waved to me and I waved back. Boy, it began to rain like a bastard. In buckets, I swear to God. All the parents and mothers and everybody went over and stood right under the roof of the carousel, so they wouldn't get soaked to the skin or anything. But I stuck around on the bench for quite a while. I got pretty soaking wet, especially my neck and my pants. My hunting hat really gave me quite a lot of protection in a way, but I got soaked anyway. I didn't care though. I felt so damn happy all of a sudden. The way old Phoebe kept going round and round, I was damn near bawling. I felt so goddamn happy. If you want to know the truth, I don't know why. It was just that she looked so damn nice the way she kept going round and round in her blue coat and all. God, I wish you could have been there. Yay. So that's such an important scene. Do I have a copy of the book? I think I might. It's ripped because that's what goes on in schools, right? But this is the horse on the carousel. That's how important it is. All right. So the carousel that goes round and round, and Phoebe's reaching for the ring. And we'll talk about that. I'll show you a video in class. Some old flying carousels, you reach for this gold ring as you go around. And if you grab the brass ring, you get a free ride. So that's what she's trying to do. And Holden's like, oh, she might fall off, but you have to let them try. And it's sort of this resolution to the conflict that he has been having about preventing kids from growing up, because he's struggling with it and he wants to save all the kids and he doesn't want them to fall off the cliff into adulthood, and he thinks adulthood is so terrible. But then he realizes as he's watching Phoebe in this final carousel scene, you've got to let them reach, right? You got to let them reach for the gold ring. It's like all part of it. And so I think it's so beautiful that he has, it's almost an epiphany, right? He has this moment of recognition as he's watching Phoebe in her blue coat and it starts to rain. So here's that water symbolism again. Remember, we saw it in the bathtub at the halfway point. But the water symbolism and the hat too, so cute. So cute is this scene where Phoebe comes over and she puts the hat on him, right? She puts the hat on his head as it's starting to rain. She reaches in his pocket and puts the hat on his head. And he sits there watching her, having this recognition that he has to let her grow up, right? He has to let her try, even if there are moments that feel like they're risky. And then it's raining on him. So the rain, again, we can talk about the symbolism of the water, but it's raining as he's contemplating this. He's getting soaking wet at this point. He's got his hat on, which he says is actually offering him quite a lot of protection. He doesn't care, and she's going round and round. And finally, he feels so damn happy, if you want to know the truth. So much going on in the scene. I love it. All right, so the crash course video in the notes talks about this scene too. John Green analyzes it. I get the feeling he likes this scene too. So with that, we'll talk more about this scene in class. I do want to hop into chapter 26. It's a very short chapter. This is a very important scene, so be aware of it. And Holden does let us know that he has told Phoebe he will go home with her after they're done with their day in the park here. That he's not going to run away. She's convinced him to at least try to come home with her, which is a good idea. So they do. They go home after that scene, and then we get chapter 26, the final chapter. So this is on page 114. That's all I'm going to tell you about. I could probably tell you what I did after I went home and how I got sick and all, and what school I'm supposed to go to next fall after I get out of here, but I don't feel like it. I really don't. That stuff doesn't interest me too much right now. A lot of people, especially this one psychoanalyst guy they have here, keeps asking me if I'm going to apply myself when I go back. He's pretty affected, but very good looking. Anyway, one time when she went to the ladies' room, way the hell down in the other wing, DB asked me what I thought about all this stuff I just finished telling you about. I didn't know what the hell to say, if you want to know the truth. I don't know what I think about it. I'm sorry I told so many people about it. About all I know is I sort of miss everybody I told about. Even old Stradlater and Ackley, for instance. I think I even miss that goddamn Maurice. It's funny. Don't ever tell anybody anything. If you do, you start missing everybody. The end. Yay! So that's the end of the book. That's chapter 26. He's in his present time again. He's gotten help, or he's getting help. His family he went to, and they had him sent out to this facility near DB to be psychoanalyzed and to get some help. And he says he doesn't really want to tell us any more about it, but that is indeed what the resolution was when he went home. He was able to speak to his parents and get some help, and he's working on things. But at least we know he's not wandering around by himself, not knowing what to do and not knowing who to ask for help. So with that, that is the end of Catcher in the Rye, and we will talk more about it in class, and I'm happy that we got to read it together. Okay, be well out there.